there were peaceful and prosperous societies all over the inhabited parts of the planet. And they were not hierarchical, and the men were not in charge, and I'm not going to now say the women were, because they weren't.
Welcome to Life on Maui. I'm your host, Stephen Freid. We just heard an amazing interview, an amazing presentation from Naya Newlight. She has an amazing presentation on why women should ostensibly, at this point in history, be running things. That's my nutshell version. And here's my question to you, my very basic, simple question, Naya, is that given all of the statistics and the energy and the time that you've put into this, and seeing how men have over the years subjugated women, declitterized women, so many injustices toward women, how is it that you honestly feel good about men?
You know, the patriarchy or the cargo cult of our civilization that we did not choose, that we were born into and acculturated by school to be part of, is as detrimental for men as it is for women. When men and women don't have equality, then the men have to step up and do the majority of things and provide for the majority of people, and their life is much tougher. Plus, they have to conform to that type of a personality which is good in sports, and I'm a roughhouse, and I'm a tomboy, and I beat people up, and I'm bigger than you are, and I can say more dirty words, and nobody wants to really do that. I mean, that's why gay men were outlawed and pariahs for centuries, because they allowed their female side to come out and was not acceptable to the patriarchy. So both men and women are victims of a situation that isn't equal.
Can you tell us about all these physical differences, mental differences that make women better leaders nowadays for the future days, for what's coming next?
There are psychological patterns, thought patterns that women have that make them able to see the bigger picture better. So men can be distracted by a detail, and their thinking tends to be more linear. When there's an obstacle or a distraction, they're thrown off course. But women tend to see everything as a large web. So many interactions come into play in their decision making. So if there's an obstacle or there's a barrier, they can easily go around it. And physiologically, it's supported by the actual anatomy of our brains. Because the center of the brain, there's a wall between the right and left hemisphere. So the logical and the creative don't interact. In order for them to interact, the neurons have to allow the information to go from one to the other. Well, in our corpus callosum, we have a huge number of connections, many more than men have. So we are able to see that big picture. So that's what's needed in this society, because people are not seeing the big picture. They're just seeing the profit motive, and that, I think, is what is making us go down.
Well, I'm very happy to say that here on Maui, us men have become more integrated with our left and right brain. You would agree? Yeah?
Yes.
And would you say there's an aspect of this that's Howard Beale in Network? I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. Do you feel that, or not really?
Do you mean from my point of view?
From your point of view.
Well, when I spent 19 months asking the universe to utilize my talents, I asked it to put me to use for the greatest good of humanity. So the greatest good of humanity, in my way of looking at it, is to get us out of that unsustainable trajectory that we've gotten into through the patriarchy. So if you rebalance the power of the sexes, I want to say if we rebalance it, if the women rebalance it, then we will stop that downward trajectory of all of the things that I mentioned in my speech, of the threat of nuclear war and the irreversible climate change, pollution of our food system, and we will come out of it. And we have to do it really fast, because otherwise it will overtake us.
Is there anywhere in your mind where you envision men and women having a real equality? And I'd like to add another piece that's also physiological change. As men become older, their corpus callosum changes, and so those interconnections, those synapses that connect the left and the right brain, they tend to be a little more even, and they begin to feel more like a woman does. They become more intuitive, and therefore they're more interested in relationships. But you are proposing that women, especially postmenopausal women, are better suited. So my question is it possible that maybe both can actually coexist?
To regain the balance, to get it back to be balanced, we have to outweigh that disbalance by giving the women more power. Or I want to say by having the women take more power. And this is the way that I see it, women's taking power based on a historical model that doesn't require paying a lot of money, waiting a long time, passing it laws that the men might not be in agreement with. And the basic thing, I think I forgot to say this in my talk, is it doesn't take any power away from the men. There is nothing in this plan that says, okay, you can't do this anymore, you don't have to. It's completely, everybody keeps what they have, and we get more stuff.
I just love that you've got the chutzpah of a New Yorker, and you got the grace of a Mauian.
Thank you for allowing us to talk to you.
You're so welcome. Thank you for listening.
And that's it for this episode of Life on Maui. Thank you so much for joining us, and until next time, aloha.
So he's
Call me crazy, but I'm never giving up my dreams. No matter how far away they seem, maybe crazy is